We're about to enter the world of the dragon. A handful of tiny volcanic islands where you'll find a rare, mysterious, feared and magnificent reptile. The largest and certainly the most dangerous lizard on Earth, the legendary Komodo dragon.
G'day, I'm Steve Irwin, and I'm taking you into the heart of dragon territory.
We're traveling on an island trading boat through a remote part of the Indonesian archipelago to the last surviving stronghold of the world's biggest lizard.
Check this place out. Unbelievable. This is the home of the dragon.
We're north of Australia and west of Papua New Guinea, traveling around a few tiny scraps of land that make up Komodo National Park. Only one of these islands is big enough to appear on a map of the world.
Indonesia lies on an explosive mix of tectonic plates. We're surrounded by volcanoes, more than any other country in the world.
And this is one of the most active regions in all of Indonesia. There's no foreseeable threat of an eruption, but behind the breathtaking beauty is the constant eerie threat.
Komodos are only found on a handful of islands. This is remote, it's really remote, hence the wild boat trip.
There's nothing like a slow boat to Komodo for enjoying the view. But being practical, there's no other way to move from island to island. As we approach the shore, we wonder how long it will be before we catch our first sight of these legendary animals. And right from the start, they don't disappoint us.
Have a go at the welcoming committee. Check this out. Woo. Welcome to the islands.
When you visit the dragons, known locally as auras, you'll always be under the watchful eyes of wildlife rangers. Steve is very experienced with crocodiles, snakes, lizards, all reptiles, so he's allowed some freedom.
Woo! Komodo dragon welcoming party. Holy smokes, this is gonna be an adventure. Excuse me.
As I try to weave my way past the welcoming committee, I spot a couple of huge dragons feeding in the mangroves. And I didn't know it, the dragons frenzy feed. They see me, which triggers a food response, and they rush straight at me, trying to get my calf muscles and my thighs. If they connect, they're gonna make me bleed, and then it's all over bar to shout. They just keep coming straight at me. No. Hideously dangerous. One bite and I'm a god.
Get out. Back off. Get out. Holy smokes, that was too close.
Hey, yeah.
Let's follow them.
I've been allowed to get right in close to the lizard, but they are dangerous. In a food response, they could kill, and that's why it's important for visitors to travel with rangers.
The locals call this dragon Baras, and he's an enormous Komodo. He's been scavenging near the water. Where the fishermen have set lines, he's taken advantage of the fish. But unfortunately, he's gotten the hook right down his throat, and now Steve's gotta help him out, or it could cost the lizard his life.
And it isn't that easy. I've got to try and get out in front of the lizard and pull the fishing line so as the hook and all pops straight out of his mouth. Got it. Oh, great, now he gets aggressive. Oh no, his aggression's turned to a food response. He's on me, he's gonna try and bite my calf muscle. He's on, he's wired, he's gonna grab me. I've got to run for cover. Woo, straight up a tree, look at this. He's gonna take my calf muscle straight out, and if he locks down, I'll bleed out and die. The tree's my only chance. In such short distance, he'd outrun me and grab me easily.
Unbelievable. He's just clicked. This is a great demonstration of how dangerous they are. How's this? Check this out. Look at that. That's one tooth. One tooth straight through my leather boots, straight through the Gore-Tex, into the sock. Look at that. He's sitting there, eh? He's like in sensory overload. Holy smokes. Whew. Danger, danger, danger. Unbelievable. I'm just gonna ease myself out of this tree.
He's onto me. He's staring straight at me. And I'm gonna have to be really careful and get ready to run, because there's blood in the air. I've spiked my arm, and if he senses that, he'll attack again.
We're out of here, come on.
Komodo dragons aren't the only wildlife on the islands, but everything else that lives here is fair game for them, unless they use the buildings and keep out of sight.
Look at this. Little tokay gecko. Look at the colours. They're nocturnal, and they live in and around these old buildings. They love them. They got extreme jaw pressure, love grasshoppers and insects, beautiful colours. And watch the way he climbs.
Sunrise in the islands is always a classic time. All of the nocturnal animals, the deer and the buffalo, they start to seek refuge. They don't want to be out and about and in an area where they could get ambushed by a Komodo. But the Komodos, a bit like me, still a bit sleepy, they're waking up, they'll be just starting to emerge from their holes. So are the humans. All the boys on the boat, they're starting to get up, starting to emerge from their holes in the boat. Salamat pagi! Here we go. Dragon poo. Now, like all goannas, or most large goannas, large monitors, their poo is very significant. Not only is it significant to me, the researcher, but it's also significant to other dragons. This poo will tell another dragon exactly what's going on. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's another dragon's claw, and I can tell by this, well, the dragon that this big one ate was probably around about 4 feet, 3.5 to 4 feet, and I can tell that by the size of this claw. And this is a front claw, so he would have grabbed, lacerated, killed the little dragon, swallowed it down whole.
But even more interesting is this skin. Have a look at this. This is a piece of Komodo skin. Right, so there's the outside, and here's the inside. See that? That's bone underneath the scales. Look at that. So when they bite each other, they do a little bit of damage. I haven't got this kind of armor plating. I'd hate to have a bite. Ooh. Great stuff.
The droppings tell us this is a big dragon's home range. They mark their territory, and the sunny side of the slope is where we'll find it, getting the body temperature up for the day's hunting.
Gosh, she's cute. Now, she's come up out of her night quarters right into the sun, and you can see how she's facing right into it. So she's thermoregulating, she's heating up, she's got her legs splayed in a very relaxed position, and she's cute. You're all right, sweetheart? She's puffing her throat out a little bit. No, you're all right. It's okay. It's okay. She's a little intimidated by me, and that's just fine. I'm quite large, and she has to stay on her toes. She's got a fair amount of scar tissue. I wouldn't mind betting that this girl is full grown. This is as big as she's gonna get. And she's got some big heavy hits. This scarring is from battles that she's had over territory, over nesting. Big one on her tail, big V cut right in. They get really rigorous with their aggression.
Steve spots another one, big male this time, and these lizards are extremely intelligent, one of the smartest reptiles on the planet.
Have a look at the size of this. He's a beauty. There's a good boy. He's got some really heavy-duty scars on his back from territorial disputes with other Komodos. They bite each other on the tail and the back. Have a look at those feet. Bigger than my hands. What a reptile. Yes, this
is one of the ruling reptiles. You can see why they're immense. Absolutely immense. I just take my time, nice and steady, nice and steady. I tell you what, this is really intimidating. I'm just watching his back feet. At the moment, he's quite relaxed. Komodos, like all goannas, they're ambush predators. And within their own body length, they're faster than I could ever move. He'd have teeth like a tiger shark.
The Komodo dragons are from the same family as the Australian goannas and other monitor lizards, or varanids. Don't let that lumbering dinosaur walk fool you. These guys can switch on a real sprint and hit almost 12 miles an hour when they hunt their prey. Komodos can be creatures of habit. Regular pathways become well-worn tracks, and that flicking tongue is tasting the air for any sign that potential prey has passed by recently.
He's located something in this grass. This early morning dew holds the smell very well. And I can see some fresh dung here. Whoa. You can see this fresh dung.
Whoa, danger. His tail's curled. He's ready to whip me.
Hey, mate. Just got the look.
This is a body posture, which means back off, or I'll belt you with this tail.
Right, so a brief pause in the shade. Keep his body temperature regulated, and away he goes again. He's on the hunt.
He's moving his head side to side, tasting the air to locate the direction of any food, and he's keeping a very careful eye on Steve.
Dealing with these big lizards is something I've wanted to do all my life, and here I am, right amongst them. But I'm being very careful. No mistakes. Because at 9 feet, he'd have the capacity to bring me down. If you can imagine, these guys kill and consume buffalo, deer, wild pigs. But luckily, we're not on the food list. We're not on the menu. Ooh, he just hissed at me.
The hiss is a warning, and that mouth is full of curved, serrated teeth, designed like razor blades for grasping and cutting. Their bite is similar to a shark, capable of slicing through tough hide.
I'm in no danger. He's relaxed. What a head! Like a dinosaur. Those ears, slits behind the head, very good sense of hearing. And the eyes, really good at picking up any movement in the savannah. They've got big nostrils to suck in a lungful of air. And you can see that saliva, the drool that dribbles out of their mouth. It contains bacteria. Even when they bite an animal, if that saliva gets in, it will cause death. He's sensing the air with his forked tongue as he strides back into the bush.
Steve follows him, but at a safe distance. The Komodo's body language is saying, "Stay away from me." There's that curled tail ready to snap out with incredible force. They use it for defending themselves or their territory. And there in the grass, Steve spots another reptile.
Got him. Oop. He's gonna bite me. No biting. This is a tree snake. And I have to be really gentle because he is so slender. And he's gonna bite, no doubt about it. Have a look at that. For one of the most beautiful snakes that you've ever seen. This is what I call the golden tree snake. And they are fast, really fast. They are so fast that I'm running through the savannah and can't catch up with them. Really quick. And they're predominantly lizard feeders. They cruise around, searching the savannah with that forked tongue. Licking, tasting the air. He's tasting my breath right now. As soon as they locate a lizard, whack, grab it, boom, swallow it down alive. They're non-venomous, but he wanted to bite me, which is his only form of defense. And smell that? Whew. That is the other form of defense. Down here, at his cloaca, he is exuding an odor that stinks. It's very pungent. And of course, there's a lot of predators around here. Absolutely everything would eat this little snake. And if he lets go that pungent odor, the animal, whoa, that stinks, and it gives him enough time to give him the slip. Wow, they are sleek, really sleek. Okay, let him go in this bush here. You watch this. There you go, mate. These creek beds provide an excellent shelter, nice cool retreat for the dragons and, of course, all species. And this is a wild place, really wild. Komodos are ambush predators. If they were up against these rocks, tucked in there, in ambush mode, you'd never know it. So I'm keeping my wits about me, just like the rest of the wildlife around here. There's a whole troop of monkeys going through the leaf litter, picking up the berries and the figs, getting a feed, prime dragon food. Komodos could hear that. Dragons, they'd zoom straight in. And while they're having a bit of play, a bit of fight, wait for their moment. Hit.
The monkey troop is well organized. Those warning sounds are an escape plan, and the dragon misses out. Steve's heard a dragon moving through the undergrowth near a stagnant water hole. And there he is, tasting the water with his tongue before lowering his head to slurp it down. They can go for long periods of time without water. But when water's available, they'll drink long and often, especially after dinner. He fills his mouth and slurps it down.
Where the pigs and the buffalo haven't stirred it all up into that primeval ooze, it's pretty clear. Well, it's not too bad. Pretty well filtered. But I reckon you'd be in more danger if you drank this than Komodo ambush. They're a big animal, aren't they?
The Komodo dragons will sit in the water, wait for a buffalo, then strike, hit it in the legs. They won't kill it outright, but the buffalo will slowly die from bacteria. And then they'll carcass feed, up to 35 on one carcass.
Freeze. Have a look at this. This is a Russell's viper. Listen to him, he's a little bit grumpy. Oh, he's grumpy too, he's really grumpy. He's grumpy as. This is one of the most feared animals in this part of the archipelago. This is the Russell's viper. In Indonesia, they call him viper. And they're very well feared, and for good reason. They're very fast, highly toxic venom. If you don't get the serum, you've got a good chance of dying. A snake this size would kill you. And he looks just like a rattlesnake. Very similar to a rattlesnake. Have a look at that head structure. Wild, arrow-looking head. The thing that is different, is that he hasn't got the pits at the front of his head like the rattlesnake that can detect heat.
I gotta get him off the track. These animals have killed more people in Indonesia than any other species. And they're aggressive. Once I get him off the track, he strikes. Naughty little snake.
It's good to get him off the track because they got a bad habit of getting squashed by big mammals like the buffalo and the deer. The Komodo, of course, they'd eat him down real quick. How's this? This is a nest site. So this is where the females come. After they've been mated with, eggs develop in their belly, they start to get distended, and then they come up here. There's a patch in the gallery forest that allows complete sun to come down, and you can see all the tracks. It's just a whole maze of tracks. Just got to keep an eye out for big males that might be in ambush. And this is where they come. This is where they come to lay their eggs. They go right down into these holes where the soil is moist and the temperature is around about 30 degrees Celsius. They'll lay their eggs. We think that they lay their eggs at night. I've found through all of my years of research that most goannas, most monitors, baronids, like the dragon, will deposit their eggs at night. Oh, look at this. Check this out. Yep, unreal. Here's a girl scratching out a nest. She's got a belly full. She's gonna lay. It's a hard job when you're a girl with a belly full of eggs. Normally the female dragons, or as a general rule, female goannas, aren't all that worried. Once they've got it in their head, we must lay. They dig, dig, dig. She's been digging in this hole for quite a while, and it's really nice, soft dirt. And when a female's gonna lay her eggs, they get quite intent on what they're doing.
She'll deposit her eggs at the end of her nest chamber, then pack dirt back over them. Her maternal instincts are strong. She's proud to be a mom.
Have a look at this one looking on. That dead set looks like another female. Have a look at the belly on it.
The females get really distended in the tummy with eggs. And this one, which I've nicknamed Nicole, checks her out. She doesn't want some other girl coming in and nesting where she wants to nest. And as it licks my foot, I hold my ground. I hope, just hope, that it doesn't bite. No, she's more interested in going and finding a nest site.
Now, these girls will actually get a little possessive over their nest site once they've deposited. Usually around about 7 or 9 months incubation period, and once the eggs have hatched, the babies have to emerge, get up out of this soil on their own, avoid predators, and then they go straight up a tree.
The little ones are arboreal. They can climb, no worries at all. When they're big adults, they're too clumsy and they'd surely fall down.
Of course, in these trees, there's a whole series of insects, geckos, skinks, birds' eggs. Just about everything that you'd want to eat when you're a baby goanna is right here, and they grow really quickly. These blokes are almost 2.5 feet in length and quite solid. And they're very calm, very quiet in the tree, no problem at all. They've got to go into the trees, otherwise the big Komodos are going to eat them. Even the teenage Komodos will eat these little ones. They're highly cannibalistic.
1 out of every 5 meals eaten by a big Komodo is a smaller Komodo. Without this population control, there wouldn't be enough food to go around.
Ah, I see what's going on. Big Komodo cruising around in the savannah. That's why they're sitting up here so quiet. I don't say I blame him. He's a big lizard. If he's 7.5 feet in length, maybe more, and he's in feed mode. He's looking, he's scanning the savannah for a feed. Yeah, good choice, really good choice. Sun's starting to go down. This is the perfect time of the day to see wildlife. It's starting to cool off.
Now that the sun's down, let's see what the Komodos are up to after dark.
Those nice rocky outcrops. There's geckos and skinks running around everywhere. Holy smokes! Have a look at this. You're a big girl by the look of it. Sitting up there, nice and high up here, having a sleep. It's a really warm night. There's no need for her to go into a burrow. She's just gonna sit out on top of this ledge. A feral cat.
Steve's about to make an incredible discovery. This species of snake is not known to live on these islands.
Yeah, have a look at this. It's a Timor python. It is too. Wow. Check this out. Have a look at this little beauty. It's a Timor python. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever get to see a Timor python. Have a look at the colour of his head. Beautiful golden pattern. Spectacular snake. He's sensing the air. Forked tongue, just like the Komodo dragon. Aren't they glorious? Have a look on his bottom jaw. Just along there. He's got pits. They're heat-sensing pits. Wants to go back up his tree. Now, being a python, he's completely harmless. But I've got to be careful because I've never been here before and I'm not all that sure about the local fauna, particularly the reptiles. Have a look at him. What a glorious snake. Check this out. He's got a stubby tail. At some stage, something's bitten, perhaps eaten his tail. Komodo dragon more than likely, but they're nocturnal.
They eat, sleep, and hunt at night. There you go, mate. Back in your tree. Up he goes.
Daylight, and the locals have tipped us off about a big dragon that's taken to the water, probably swimming to a nearby island where there's good hunting.
Got a couple of leaks, but as long as I work a bit quicker than they do, I should stay afloat.
Steve's keeping a close watch for wildlife, especially dragons, who can be powerful swimmers. There'll be the usual marine predators here like sharks, but these days only one big reptile.
They used to have crocodiles here, but they've since become extinct, so it looks like the dragon has taken up the niche as the #1 scavenger, predator, hard-hitting reptile.
I hope I spot the dragon soon. This isn't exactly the most seaworthy outrigger that I've ever been in. I just got to keep bailing. There he is. It's a big bloke, and he's steaming across the water. It's unlikely that he's hunting. The dragon is a terrestrial animal, and the only time he'd slip into the sea would be to escape a predator or get somewhere else. Look at him power through the water like a crocodile.
How's the strength? He's steaming across the channel. Strong, the power, just like a crocodile. Got his legs tucked in. He's steaming through the water.
I'm flat out keeping up, and he's too big to be worried by predators, so the reason he's in the water is to go from one island to another. He's probably sniffed out some food.
They're known to swim more than half a mile through strong currents to reach a herd of goats grazing on a nearby island. They'll stay until they've eaten the goats, however long it takes, and then swim back again. They'll only make a swim like this if the food supply's short on their own island, and if the wind's blowing in the right direction to bring the scent across.
And this is a huge dragon, probably the biggest one we've seen. So close to 10 foot it's not funny, almost as big as they get.
On the downside, his movement's restricted, but that won't stop him sniffing out and striking anything edible.
Here he goes. How's this? I hope you can't smell this. Makes me nervous.
He turns straight at me. He can sense the blood. He goes into feed mode and he readies for a strike. Straight at me.
When this guy is on, they're right on. I guess you got to look at me. Thought, yeah, this must be edible.
Luckily enough, I'm able to go through the spider mangroves, those aerial roots, and stay out of his way. He's in hunt mode. Look at that forked tongue going.
Talk about location, they can locate anything. And once they go into this mode, anything moves, bang, it's sensory overload. They hit it. A little bit of bark falls off the tree, whack, straight at it. Phenomenal, the keenest sense of sight. Phenomenally keen. Real good eye for movement. Scanning, because I tell you what, see how nice and pink my toes are?
He spots him and lines up for a strike. He has another go at me. Look at this. He wants me. I'm going higher. I just don't feel safe. Look at him. He's right at me. He's starting to lose interest and move off. It's starting to get safer. He's heading out of the mangroves and into the scrub. Time for me to move up, but I'm going to give myself a lot of distance. He's in food mode and I won't want to get too close because it's easy to see that he is on. Look at the power in those legs. Talk about a living dinosaur strutting his stuff. They exude a sense of power and prehistory. Look at that forked tongue. Magnificent animal. He's starting to get out of hunting mode and into an inquisitive mode as he goes from side to side, picking up the scent of something. And now he's starting to jog. He's heading out into the savannah in a jog. Where is he going? What's he doing? Let's follow him and see what he's up to.
Woo. Dragons can run over 12 mile an hour. This one's running, I don't know, 4 or 5. This is only a trot. They go faster. Here he's picking up speed. I don't know where they're going. Woo! They're chasing something.
Slowing down. This is a trot. Whoa. Slowing down. Here he goes. Into the shade. Notice the way, as he struts, his head goes side to side and his forked tongue goes out. It's like my ears. As I'm listening, if I hear something, I can tilt to one side and detect where it is. They are a highly sophisticated animal. Their senses are very well honed. And it's important that I follow him from the water to his destination to get a better understanding of those instincts. They are one complex animal.
As well as the obvious use for walking and running, the feet and claws are designed for other purposes. They can be powerful weapons for defense or tearing at prey, efficient digging tools for unearthing eggs or building nests, and in males, as hands for gripping their partner during mating.
We just look for a nice, comfortable spot.
He's scavenging amongst the debris left on the high tide. He grabs a bit, yuck, spits it back out. It's not edible. Whoa, he's starting to curl his tail up. He doesn't like my presence. I guess I was in his way. Tail whips are just a warning, but a good solid one at that. Oh, she's starting to sting a bit. Actually, have a look at this. See a bit of a bruise there. What happened was, kind of the tail hit me across there, and that was like whoosh, whoosh, the last part of the tail connecting. Hey, quick, get a good shot of it, because this is like the best souvenir I could ever get.
What an impressive animal. You've just gotta love and respect them.
Selamat tinggal. Terima kasih banyak.
It's time to leave the park rangers behind and look for more Komodo dragons all around the shores of these volcanic islands. The coast is so rugged that a boat's the only way to do it.
Check this out. Really, really active. Commotion in the ocean.
The continuous seismic activity of the Earth's crust in eastern Indonesia produces unexpected currents and disturbances in the ocean. And the volcanic origins of the islands has created a landscape of scenic grandeur and rare beauty.
What a beautiful morning. We're in some pretty deep water, and I'm up here on deck with me mates.
There's about 60 species of birds in the islands. This one's a heron, hunting on the tidal flats.
Even got an early morning fisherman.
And another early riser, trying his luck in the waves. The movement of fish stimulates the dragon, but the best he could hope for is something to scavenge on the tide line.
Have a look at this big bloke. He's beachcombing. I think he likes to look at my feet. You can see all bits and pieces get washed up here. Sorry, mate. Like old baskets, bits of plastic bottles and stuff, absolutely everywhere. Cans of bintang. He's just forked tongue all through it. Woohoo! Scavenging along the beachfront is very common. Not only will they pick up any old carcasses and flotsam and jetsam, but they'll scan for any fresh signs of turtles, turtle eggs, any seabirds. Of course, birds always get washed up, and they're on the hunt, scavenging the whole time. Look at his forked tongue, working the ground.
Beachcombing is usually pretty slim pickings, and the most productive areas for the Komodos is back inland on the game trails. Even the biggest dragons are not invulnerable. Eventually, old age slows them down, and they often starve to death.
This poor old lizard is really sick and really weak, barely able to move. He's like a living skeleton.
This is nature's way. See you later, mate.
There are 15 species of snake on the islands. Around half of them are venomous, and 3 are dangerous enough to kill humans.
What a little cutie. This is the green viper. Don't get lulled into a false sense of security with his colour. That is the brightest green. And have a look at his head. Beautiful little snake, but he's a viper. And they are highly venomous. Not as venomous as the other viper out here on the islands, the Russell's viper, but this bloke would actually... Naughty little snake. This bloke would actually contain enough venom to knock me over. No problem at all. Now, they're really fast strikers. You can see that S position that he's in there. He's going to bite me. No biting. I should have picked the bigger stick. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. There we go. Have a look at that tail. See the end of his tail? See how it's orange? Now, he'll actually use that. We call it caudal luring. He'll wiggle that like that, and that'll attract geckos, which is one of his main food sources. And as it comes to get his little wiggle, whack, he'll grab it, envenomate it, and then work it down, swallow it down. Hey, what are you doing? Oh! You're a grumpy little snake. Boy, he's grumpy. Oh!
Steve's like a kid in a candy store. If he's not up in the trees looking for wildlife, he's down on the ground.
This is the gosong, the local name of the megapode bird. Have a look at the size of this mound, and there's komodos all around.
Now, this is Steve's chance to interact with komodos in a way he has done with so many other species of reptile. It's a calculated risk, but Steve has worked with crocodiles, snakes, and lizards for his entire life, and the ultimate experience for him is to be at one with them.
The dragons are very intent on looking for birds and birds' eggs. I'm gonna hold my ground. The area all the way around me is thick with komodos. There's 2 right in front, and there's several in the fringe. And I can hear a big one, and so can this little one. They're always ever present of the noise of bigger dragons around us. I've got to be really careful as these smaller dragons, for one slip-up could be potentially dangerous.
Steve's not afraid of them, and while they're cautious, they seem to accept his presence.
And I'm going one-on-one. I've got to be careful not to move my fingers or something small enough that they think it's a food source. Oh, just like that. Luckily enough, it thought I was too big and backed off. There's komodos all around me. Look at this bigger one behind me, just checking me out. I'm going to curl back up. Even though she's got a mouthful of egg, she still comes back out. I'm surrounded by komodos. There's at least a dozen, and I keep throwing dirt and sticks, which plays on their movement receptors and gives them something else to think about rather than me. The smell of food is driving them a little crazy. Luckily enough, there's no big steamer lizards that would see me as a food source. But I'm gonna hold my ground. Ooh, here she comes. Oh, tongue flick right on the face. Luckily enough, it's more interested in going back into the eggs.
Licked on the face by a Komodo dragon. She had a feed, licked my face, she's on her way.
With the smell of food, they're becoming more and more inquisitive. It's important that I hold my ground and don't lose my concentration, because they are really inquisitive. Notice how it pulled away when I moved my foot towards it.
There's Komodos everywhere.
Ooh, this one's a little bigger. I'm starting to get a bit nervy. Nope, I'm not edible. And another one. They're coming right at me, one at a time. Just move towards it. Come on. No, it's starting to back off. This is okay. It's moving off. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whew. It thinks I'm unedible too. Have a look at this. There's Komodos everywhere. Ooh, these two, they're arching their neck. They're puffing out their throats. Look how stiff they're going. It's on. It's gonna happen. Here we go. The aggressor takes a position.
Got a fight on our hands.
Whoa. They get really, really aggressive. And they face up to each other. They can inflict a powerful blow and one may die. They wrestle. As long as they don't bite, they won't kill each other. It's like a big standoff. No matter how calm they seem, the Komodo dragon can explode into action in an instant. There's really nothing else like them anywhere on Earth.
Salamat tinggal. Well, what an epic, total epic Komodo dragons. Woohoo!